Okay, we'll call to order the City Council meeting for Monday, April 20th, 2015. First item on the agenda is invocation, and I would ask that we all stand, and Alderman Sam, would you please give us an invocation?
Would you all bow with me, please, as we pray? Good and gracious God, we thank you on behalf of all of these people here. Thank you for the many blessings that you bestow upon us. We thank you for the ability to be involved in our community and the responsibilities that you give us here today. We pray for the mayor, for the city council, and for city staff. In particular, we pray for all of those who are gathered in assembly here today. Would you grant us wisdom as we govern, and a sense of welfare and the true needs of everyone in our community. We ask for a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, and the ability to work in harmony together, even amidst honest disagreement. We ask for personal peace and health in our lives and joy in all of our work. We ask for your assurance in the decisions that we make today, that they are pleasing to you and beneficial to everyone in our community. We pray for those who work in service here in our community, both those working every day out on the streets of Batavia as police and fire, as well as those who serve in the armed forces, protecting our freedoms and our rights throughout our entire country. We thank you for your provision and your protection over our community, and we ask this all in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Alderman Sam. Would you also please lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to have to move right on then to roll call. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
And just a reminder to Alderman Stark, you are considered absent until voted upon to join the meeting. Brown?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
Atack?
Here.
Chanzit?
Here.
Wolf?
Here.
Fisher?
Here.
O'Brien?
Here.
Callahan?
Here.
Homan?
Here.
Sam?
Here.
Boderman?
Here.
Cerrone?
Here.
McFadden?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Does anybody care to make a motion to allow Alderman Stark to enter?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Chanzik, second by Alderman McFadden. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Alderman Stark, you're now part of the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to consent or items to be removed, added, or changed. We are not going to have executive session, so we can scratch that one off the agenda. That is the only one that I know of that we're going to change. Anybody else have anything? Okay, we'll move on then to item number 5, which is consent agenda. And Alderman McFadden, would you please present that?
Yes, the consent agenda reads as followed. Accept and place on file, A, the January financials, B, Committee of the Whole minutes for March 17th, 2015, C, the Historic Preservation Commission minutes for March 9th, 2015, and D, the March 2015 building reports. The approvals are E, April 10th, 2015 payroll in the amount of $736,256.26. F, the accounts payable check register in the amount of $3,833,075.28. G, the City Council minutes for March 16th, 2015. H, Resolution 15-44-R, authorizing Task Order 1 with Engineering Enterprises for professional engineering services for the water treatment plant. I, Resolution 15-52-R, authorizing execution of a master services agreement with Testing Service Corporation for geotechnical engineering related services. And J, Resolution 15-53-R, authorizing execution of easement agreement with Bethany Lutheran Church. I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Motion by McFadden, second by Homan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? We need to do roll call for that? Okay, we need to do roll call.
All right. McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Chanzit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on then to item number 6, which is matters from the public for items that are not on the agenda. So if anybody has anything they wish to address the council about for items that are not on the agenda, would you please come up to the podium, give us your name and address, and
Thank you, Council. Thank you for your good work. Thanks for all the good things that happen here in Batavia. It makes me proud to be a citizen. My address is 141 North Daniels in Batavia. I'm here this evening relative to my business at the corner of Houston and 31, just up the street. Last week, in visiting with a surveyor, I came aware that there were changes to that intersection. The city has released for contract the changing of a yellow cross-hatched warning lane into a raised 8-inch high square curbed median. That median will cause great difficulty to my business. Many of my customers come from the east side of town, south side of town. Northbound traffic on 31 would be prevented from a left turn into my station, and vehicles that came into my station for whatever reason and were proceeding north would be prevented from making a left turn out of my station to proceed north onto 31. This is a major change to the principal entrance to my facility. Large vehicles use this entrance to align with various fueling points in the station. Diesel fuel is only available at my northwest dispenser, and usually it's a larger vehicle that utilizes that, including a contract I have with the Illinois Central School Bus Association that buses our school students. Fuel delivery trucks frequently, almost always, exit my station to the north. An 8-inch high square curbed median would prevent those left turns. Those vehicles, semi-trailer, about 4 times a week, would then turn south on 31, then turn east on Wilson, coming down through this congested corridor. Their options then would be to turn north on Washington Street, another narrow street in residential area, or proceed east on Wilson Street to Kirk Road, where they would go north to Carroll Stream, where they typically, end their run. So fuel delivery trucks would be an issue. It's not just me that's impacted. The contracted change interferes with all left turns into Rick Eckblade's building, Hardy's Restaurant, Steve Hopkins Insurance behind me, and residential area on Houston Street. The current area is used as a staging area for vehicles that are turning left into that area, and that staging area would not be available. So when people are waiting to turn left, where it would be allowed on Houston Street, traffic would back up down to Wilson Street. None of these property owners were informed of this change. Emergency vehicles that currently use this area to bypass traffic would be stuck in traffic or forced to enter oncoming traffic lanes, as no vehicle safely climbs an 8-inch square curb. Frequently, squads come up the hill, turn left, work around the backed up traffic with sirens and lights, and get safely to the intersection where they can proceed without fighting that traffic. So high median would prevent the use of that. The current configuration, I believe, enhances safety and traffic flow in many ways. I'm surprised that we're making a change at Houston Street for pedestrians because the city has spent quite a bit of money down at Wilson Street with the programmed lights, the walk, don't walk, the countdown to warn people they have 7 seconds to clear the intersection, and proper approaches and markings for the pedestrian crossing. I further understand that up at McKee Street, we're planning a formal pedestrian crossing, which will be safer and much less congested. So I'm surprised we're planning on spending significant money on a raised median that would attract people away from where they have a safer crossing and where we've spent considerable funds to make that accommodating. I've witnessed many accidents at that corner, being there 36 years. And I'd have to say that in none of those accidents would one be safe, would a pedestrian be safe on a median that's 8 inches high and 10 or 12 foot wide. When those cars go bouncing off of there, they end up in my driveway, they end up down Houston Street, they end up far south on Highway 31, and that curb or median would not offer true protection. It might offer a feeling of protection, but I don't believe it would offer true protection. Some people have suggested that I truly have 2 entrances and exits onto 31, and that the loss of my main entrance would not be a big deal. I disagree with that. The other entrance is smaller. It's closer to the accelerating traffic coming away from Wilson Street. It's very congested on my lot with angular parking, proximity to the gas pumps, traffic pulling in and out of the repair bays. It's a congested area, and if a vehicle pulls in, they really would have to weave around my property to get to where they commonly go when they enter my main entrance, and large vehicles just would not do it. The planned construction is a major detriment to me and my business neighbors, and I believe general traffic flow in Batavia. I ask you not to proceed with the raised median in Batavia. Thank you.
Stan, I want to thank you for coming down tonight. As you know, this is on the agenda for tomorrow night, so we'll have some good conversation about it tomorrow evening. But with you coming down tonight and presenting your situation the way you see it, I think it gives us all a good opportunity to go home tonight now and think about what you said and what the impacts would be, so that tomorrow night we can even be more fruitful, I guess you could say, or educated in our discussion that we're going to have about how we're going to proceed. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Anybody else from the public? Okay, we're going to move on then to item number 7, which is appointments. The mayor had sent out a memo on this. I'm sure everybody got it. This would be to appoint Samuel Franzman of 123 North Washington Avenue and Andrew Greenhagen of 202 Adams Street to the Environmental Commission. This is due to a couple vacancies. So could I have a motion for that, please?
So moved. Second.
What do we have? Motion by McFadden, second by Atek. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, Main Street. Joy, do we have? Okay.
Good evening, Council. I'm Marcia Boyce with Boyce Body Works, and I'm on the Main Street Board, and I'm here to do the Main Street Minute tonight. In February, 88 Main Street volunteers donated 229 hours for planning, meetings, programs, and events. In March, we met with 2 downtown Main Street businesses to help them grow their business and learn about what they do. We have a new business coming to town in May, Banner Nutrition at 144 West Wilson, and there's going to be a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, May 20th at 4 p.m. On April 4th, over 400 people came to the downtown Egg Hop, where we had music and games and activities for families. The families collected eggs for chances to win prizes donated by participating businesses. In partnership with River City Church, participants also got a chance to be a part of the Gimme 5 Challenge by learning and recording a short routine to Uptown Funk, which they're going to post online for the Ellen Show. Looking ahead, we have the first inaugural Discover Batavia Ladies Night Out event coming up on Thursday, April 30th from 3 to 9 p.m. We have these nice little bags that we'll be giving out to everybody that comes. All the downtown businesses are going to have deals and promotions. You'll have a chance to win prizes. They're on display at the Salvaged Heart. If you need more information, go to our website or our Facebook page. There's only going to be a few more weeks left for the indoor farmers market at Gaetano's, but this summer is going to mark the 20th anniversary for the market now on River Street. On the third Saturday of each of these summer markets, we're going to combine it with the Artisan Collective. So they'll be there in addition to the farmers market. And this year we're going to have 25 seasonal vendors. There'll be another Artisans Market at Gaetano's on May 20th at 6 p.m. And one other thing, on another little hat with the United Way, I know a lot of aldermen are promoting it this Saturday. They're trying to have a world record set in Batavia, the scooter parade. All proceeds are going to benefit Chip In and the Batavia United Way. It's going to be a great event for Batavia, and hopefully everybody will be able to come out for that. There isn't actually a Business of the Month this month. There's going to be a brief presentation on a collaborative effort with Water Street Art Flow Outreach Program and the H.C. Storm Elementary School. Working together, these groups are creating a mosaic mural, which will be located near the entrance of the school. Here to speak more about the project are Julie Johnson, Julie Elholm from H.C. Storm, and Catherine Kratzer, the manager at Water Street. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for letting us speak tonight about this project. I'm Catherine Kratzer, and I'm actually the director of Water Street Studios' arts outreach program called Art Flow. And there's more information about that in your packets, the outreach program. But as you know, the arts are thriving in this community and continuing to grow, and that's all the logos that I could fit on the slide, but there's a lot more organizations in Batavia that are thriving also. And then I wanted to mention at Water Street, the gallery exhibits at Water Street Studios are stronger than ever, so please stop by. Right now we have a climate crisis solution show with talks from environmental experts, and the last talk is this Friday, and it's Dr. Ye, and he'll be talking about sustainable energy at 7 p.m. And then Water Street Studios Community Arts Outreach Program, Art Flow, has brought arts education to over 200 underserved students and adults in Batavia and surrounding communities since 2011. And we have after-school programs at Batavia Apartments, H.C. Storm Elementary, it's a bilingual program, and then we have weekly teen classes at Water Street. And then, so what happens when you have a community that is passionate about the arts and education?
We've been partnering with Catherine for, this is our second school year with our bilingual program after school, and we're ready to take on a mission we want to talk to you about the Mosaic Tile Project. The mission, as stated here, is the students of H.C. Storm Elementary School and Water Street Studios Art Flow, along with staff, parents, local artists, and community members, will create an outdoor cut glass mosaic to be installed along the brick wall leading to the entrance of H.C. Storm. This outdoor community art will celebrate education, the beautiful Fox Valley, and nature. This is our blank canvas, which is the exterior as you approach the school. We've had some special students working with us. We've been creating projects with our artists on about twice a month for the last 2 school years. And these are our forces in training. We've had many, many classrooms involved with the shoebox project. You can see we've been saving bottle caps for about 2 years now and creating a tile that's been recently installed in the interior of our cafeteria, and you can just see like a sketch there in the part of the creation. Our students were so excited they did a little reporting on BATV about the art program, and you can see the tile artists in the back. We've been working with Interact students from the high school and their afternoon school club too.
So beyond all of the great unmeasurables, these are some of the measurables that we see with community art. They improve the academic performance, have higher GPAs, lower dropout rates, and using your hands creatively is key. It's going to decrease anxiety and stress and increase concentration and self-esteem. A lot of our kids come from a background of free and reduced lunches, and these are key skills for them to learn and integrate into their schooling, their education. This is a finished project already completed by the Teen Art Flow. This is a smaller scale mural. It's hosted at Water Street Studios, but it gives us a little idea of what our finished product will look like. And this is a piece done by our artist in residence, Danielle Dobies. She comes to us from NIU. She's graduating in May, and she'll be assisting our community in creating this great piece. We had our initial meeting with parents, community members at Water Street Studios to kind of determine some of the themes, the motifs, and history that we wanted to include in this mural. And we just have a couple snapshots of the workshops that we've already hosted with some of the parents from HC Storm. A couple more close-ups of the work that will happen. And finally, this is our plan. You can see that there's a river going through the 3 panels. These will all be installed as separate pieces, so the cicada will be a separate piece from the fox, and it will cover the 3 panels, incorporating a lot of beautiful ideas from Batavia itself. So we'll just show you a little bit more. And we've had to add a few details per our citizens at Storm. They asked for a windmill. We've added that in, so it's still in process. Our funding, we've been working with Walmart. We just obtained a $1,000 grant, as well as the Batavia Arts Council. We were granted $750. And we're still working with Target, Kohl's, and some other local businesses. But we are looking for involvement. We're looking for donations, any kind of community involvement that people are interested in. We're going to have a summer schedule soon of when Water Street will be hosting these free workshops, and then in July when Storm will host the free workshops. And this is just a simple list of some of the things that our community is starting to collect to help us create the mural. So we're hoping to install in August and host a community art walk and dedication. Yeah. So thank you so much.
We're just hoping to involve the whole community. We want to make this a community project. Like Julie said, the workshops will be open to everybody. We're just looking for time and donations, and if you have tile at home that you want to get rid of, that too can be dropped off at Water Street. But and we'll keep everyone posted on schedules on the Water Street Studio website. So thank you.
That looks real nice. I got to commend you for putting this together. But if somebody in the community wants to get involved, whether it be financially or hands-on, whatever, how do they get a hold of you to do that?
So they could either contact Storm, and Julie's a 2nd grade teacher, and I'm the instructional coach, so they could contact us, or they could contact Water Street. So we'll be kind of getting out, like the pamphlet that you received. We're going to be present at some of the farmers markets and just other ideas. We have Pride Night at Storm, so we'll set up there, and we'll just keep trying to spread this news. So
You're looking for the old tiles that we all have in our basement from the bathroom remodels and everything?
Yes, anything.
Perfect.
Yep.
Mirrors, if you have mirrors that are cracked or broken, we need mirrors. So.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for him? Well, thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Time.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 9, which is the proclamation for Arbor Day. And Alderman Wolf, as Chairman of City Services, you're going to read that for us?
Thank you. Whereas, in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heat and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of our business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Batavia has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore, I, Jeffrey D. Shelkey, Mayor of the City of Batavia, Illinois, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 24th, 2015 as Arbor Day in the City of Batavia, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I further urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of this and future generations on this 24th day of April 2015.
Thank you, Alderman Wolf. Gary, are you down here tonight for receiving this?
Do we have to accept it?
I would make the motion that we accept the proclamation as read. Second.
Motion by motion by Wolf, second by Chanzik. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you. I don't have much. I just did want to bring the citizens' attention to the fact that the 50/50 program is currently underway for tree planting. Those details are on our website, and they'll also be published in next issue of the Neighbors Magazine. So if you're interested, go there for the information and the 50/50 program.
Okay, and I do have the proclamation here from the mayor tonight, but I'll just kind of give it to you after the meeting, if that's okay. Thank you. All right, move on to item number 10, which is ordinance 15-16, authorizing execution of a release and termination of easement and easement agreement on Batavia Enterprise parking lot on West Wilson Street. Alderman Atek?
Thanks, Alderman Brown. This is an easement that was given to the city from Batavia Enterprises in 1960. And during our redevelopment agreement negotiations with Batavia Enterprises for the Walgreens development, we agreed to release this easement. So this is what this ordinance is doing, and this is our last step in our redevelopment agreement of fulfilling our obligations. So it's a good thing, and hopefully the project will move forward. Are there any questions?
You know what, I do have a question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought it said in the memo from staff that Batavia, we were going to release our easement, and Batavia Enterprises were going to release their easement.
Okay, yes.
But they no longer have an easement since we're giving them the property.
I think it's still in escrow, and I don't think we've officially given it to them yet, so when that all happens, I believe they release it.
Okay.
If I understand it correctly.
But if it doesn't, if the RDA doesn't go through,
Then
we keep our easement.
correct.
Okay.
That's the way I understand it.
So, but then, I guess what I'm getting at is that it's not a quid pro quo. It's you know, we've given them land. We're giving them an easement also, and so.
Well, they already have the easement.
Right,
We're giving them
we're
land.
taking back the easement. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess
but they'll
my
own the
main
land.
concern is this, is that parking is a big issue in our town. And I know BEI, Batavia Enterprise, and, you know, as a little background, I did not support the RDA. But after, you know, it went through, I did tell Batavia Enterprises that I would support them to get this done. But I just got to put it out there to everyone that, you know, parking being the deal that it is in our town, and I know Batavia Enterprises said that, you know, even though we've relinquished our rights to an easement, they will let people park freely in the lot. But for how long? I mean, 20 years from now, the majority of us will not be sitting here on the council. You know, they decide whatever situations happen in the future with Batavia Enterprises, where they have to sell that property, what happens to the parking rights for the residents of our city? That's my concern. I just think we're giving up an awful lot. I know it's late in the day now, and I'm not trying to throw any wrenches in Batavia Enterprises' wheelhouse, but I It's just a concern I have. I mean, does anyone,
I share your concern. I'm not sure that Alderman Brown is, if we can address that at this moment,
Well, I mean, we've got a ordinance in front of us to vote on. That's how you would address it.
Okay,
We've had the conversation numerous times over and over and over again, and short of tabling it, which I wouldn't recommend, we can vote on it tonight and let the chips fall where they fall.
Well, if we don't vote on it, we don't fulfill our portion of the redevelopment agreement. I mean, if we don't
I'm just putting it out there. Hopefully Batavia Enterprises is listening,
Yes.
and that they will, not that they won't honor their promise, but 20 years from now, maybe hopefully they continue to honor it. It's just the residents of our city, the votes we make today, for today, also for times in the future, as you know, the mayor says many times, you know, Alderman Brown's father, when he was mayor, bought this building, and they were, the city was very upset with him for doing so. And now we have a beautiful building because he had some vision. And so I just think the decisions we make today are also for the future.
Mike, I'd like to just chime in that, you know, I think they did give us a concession that they allotted or put some parking off on the far east corner of it for off-site businesses that are not theirs, that are not their buildings, but they're going to allow them to use the parking lot. And
How many spaces?
It's either 16 or 19.
13. I thought it was 13, but yeah, I think it's 13.
Well, it's
You know,
considering what the city's giving up for possible future giving
I
up.
think that the parking spaces that were in there were always used by the businesses that were in there. I don't think we ever had a sign that said, this is free city parking in the middle of this parking lot. I don't think I ever remember that. And they have never been against anybody parking in that lot when the businesses are not open. So say there's something happening downtown, they never put a sign up, they never put cones up as other businesses in town do downtown when they don't want somebody parking on their lot right next to a festival. So, I mean, I think we have a very good working relationship with them, and I think that they wanted to get that out there in the agreement that they would allow somebody from off-site to park on their property. And part of what they needed here was to be able to satisfy the needs of Walgreens for a lease, that they have dedicated parking on-site, within sight of the door for Walgreens. And without us releasing that, we're not going to be able to give that to them.
And I get that, but I guess it's an argument we should have had earlier, and I agree with you.
I don't think we had the argument and it was over. We did.
But I think it's good, Mike, that you brought this up tonight, because this is the night that we're voting on it. So your comments, your concerns, everybody's concerns will be in the minutes, which is something that can always be referred to by future city councils. So it's very good that you brought this up, that there's a huge concern on the part of the city council that there's always going to be parking available. Alderman Callahan.
Well, you know what, I'm just going to say one last thing, but I agree with you. We do have a good relationship with Batavia Enterprises, and I do wish to maintain that relationship, absolutely.
Alderman Callahan.
Just quickly, I just want to say, if we want to look to where we are in 20 years from now, look for where we've been for 20 years with them, and there's been no cars been towed out of there like crazy, so I think the past kind of shows the way it's going to be in the future. So I'm good with that.
Any other questions? All right, I move that we pass ordinance 15-16, authorizing execution of a release and termination of the easement and easement agreement on Batavia Enterprises parking lot on West Wilson Street.
Second.
Motion by Atack, second by Wolf, for approval of resolution, or ordinance 15-16. Roll call, please.
Stark?
Aye.
Atack?
Aye.
Chanzit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Fisher?
Aye.
O'Brien?
No.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Boderman?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark?
Motion's carried, 13 yes, 1 no. Okay, we'll move on then to item number 11, which is approval for the waiving of the formal bidding for the mosquito abatement program. Alderman Wolf?
Thank you. Because we only have one bid out there for mosquito abatement. Those of you that weren't at the meeting the other night, Clark Environmental, who has been around forever, is the only one left that's out there, so that's why we're waiving formal bidding. So I'll make a motion that we waive formal bidding for contract for the mosquito abatement program.
Second.
Motion by Wolf, second by Callahan.
Just put in that, you know, for an amount not to exceed
That when we
$30,900.
approve the ordinance. This is just a waive formal bidding.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second to waive formal bidding. Roll call, please.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Atack.
Aye.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried, 14. Alderman Wolf, next item on the agenda is Resolution 15-55-R, authorizing execution of a contract of a mosquito abatement program with Clark Environmental for a price not to exceed $30,900.
Okay, and just so the public is aware, and anybody that wasn't there at the city committee of the whole meeting, we're really only spraying for mosquitoes that would carry disease. It's not a nuisance mosquito. We're not spraying as much as we used to, so it is a much smaller spray pattern than we've ever had. Pretty much the same that we've done the last 3 years, Gary, correct? About 3 years we've gone to the smaller amount. So what they'll do is they'll go through, check the traps, count everything. When it's determined that it's necessary, they'll do the spraying. And then, you know, keep track of if there are any mosquitoes that we have to be worried about, you know, anything that we'd have to inform the public about. So I'll make the motion that we approve Resolution 15-55-R, authorizing the execution of a one-year contract for a mosquito abatement program with Clark Environmental Mosquito Management in the amount not to exceed $30,900.
Second.
Motion by Wolf, second by O'Brien. Roll call, please.
I'd like a comment, please, if I may. I just want to let the public also know that Clark held their prices. They could have gone up. We had no one else to bid it, and yet they held their prices as a good business partner with the city.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Wolf.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Clark. Atack.
Aye.
Stark.
Aye.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you. Next item is item number 13, ordinance 15-17, revising Title III, Chapter 3 of the Batavia Municipal Code amendment, amending various provisions dealing with the alcoholic liquor ordinances. Chief Shira, I see you're up here, so I guess you're going to take this. Alderman McFadden, would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, I'll take it and introduce it, and the chief is here to answer any questions because there's a lot of changes. Essentially, this is a bunch of, a whole series of changes to our liquor code, primarily catching our code up to what has become, or what we've learned are fairly common business practices, as well as creating some business-friendly sorts of new licenses for specific events, carry-in licenses for events at certain businesses, as well as establishing a new class of license for brew pubs. So the kind of thing this covers are tastings which go on regularly at businesses in town, events where a business would like to allow patrons to carry in liquor with them, or for other non-bar and restaurant types of business who may like to offer a glass of beer or wine along with their services to make that possible for them. It's discussed pretty extensively on the April 14th COW. The chief is here if there are any other questions.
Anybody have any questions? Or Chief, would you like to add anything more to that?
Well, if somebody would like me to take you quickly through the summary, or I know we talked about it pretty extensively last.
It'd be good. We've got the TV going here, so it'll be good to make sure Julie did a great job of presenting it, but.
Thank you, Alderman McFadden. City Attorney Kevin Drendel, myself, We got contacted by a number of people in the business community, by the Chamber of Commerce, by Batavia Main Street, and we had a series of informal meetings. Issues surfaced through the aldermen, and as we looked into it, and so what we tried to incorporate here is, just as Alderman McFadden said, try to make it a little bit more business friendly, enhance the shopping or spa or hair cutting, hairstyling experience, and so I think we've closed some loopholes and made it, I think, enhanced the experiences which they desired. So let me just walk you through. What you have in Ordinance 1517 is a incorporation of a tasting sampling section, which is fairly routine throughout the Chicagoland area, and I'm sure the nation, where a representative of a liquor company may come into let's say a Walmart or whatever, a Sam's Club, and offer, try this wine out, try this beer out, whatever it may be. That's tasting. Sampling is when the store owner or manager themselves are using their own product as somebody comes into their store and says, would you try this out? So basically both of those are covered under the state statute, and we want to incorporate it into our ordinance to allow for that. Currently we do not allow it for it, so sampling and tasting is in there. We did a slight modification of the happy hour language, which mirrors the Illinois State Liquor Commission. As Alderman McFadden touched on, we already had in our city code an existing carry-in license for restaurants, but we added one for salons, for barbershops, and also for events. Whether it be Water Street Studio wants to have an art class, and people can bring their own liquor, their own wine, and enhance the experience as they learn about art. Or somebody has a Wabansie College wants to have through a local jewelry store, wants to have a jewelry making session, and people can carry in their license. So we've accommodated that by having it for salons slash barbershops, and also for events. We also added, expanded the E1 church club license. I think we mentioned last time at the committee of the whole meeting that, for years, probably 30 plus years, the VFW has had 3 times a year had their herring breakfast, which liquor sales at 6 a.m. when our ordinance only allows it at 9 a.m. So we don't see anything wrong with that. So we're accommodating an E1 license, which is what they have. Up to 4 times a year they can have this special event. We established a limited retail license, which a retailer can sell liquor. The key word is sell, and we've been asked this over and over and over again. And unless it's a private party at a commercial establishment, you cannot give liquor away. So the key ingredient is it has to be sold. So this E4 license allows a retailer to, let's take the sake of a jewelry store, if somebody, again, to enhance the jewelry shopping experience, if one wants to go over to a side area and buy a glass of wine to enhance the experience, that can be accommodated by that proprietor buying an E4 license. Likewise, a spa or liquor store. Many spas sell spa packages, which includes a glass of champagne. Unless we make it legal, it's illegal. And that is fairly routine in a spa package, and it can be incorporated as part of the spa package, but it's clear it's a different price if you don't want the champagne than you do. Otherwise, you're technically giving it away. But the E5 license would accommodate something like that. Class G license, which is a special use license to accommodate something like a farmer's market. If somebody wants to come in and see, and they're marketing their wine and want to be able to sell their wine at a farmer's market, there's a class for them to do that, and it's either a G1 as a single event if they just want to try it out, or a G2, which is a series event. They can have the whole year's farmer's market if they wish to. As Alderman McFadden mentioned also, we established a Class H microbrewery or brew pub. Nothing's in the wind, but it's very popular, and I think it's just a matter of time before somebody wants to locate here. So we figure let's be proactive. Let's establish the class already and the fee. So that's in the ordinance as well. Basic training requirement. Again, we emphasize the basic training requirement for all the classes, and we incorporated in there, kind of sadly, that one who is either checking IDs or serving liquor, either at an establishment or at a special event, cannot be consuming liquor while this is occurring. Sadly, we've had 2 incidents, both at a bar and also at a special event, where the person was intoxicated or borderline intoxicated doing this. So that's a no-no. And lastly, we created a Class I caterer's license. So if a restaurant in town wishes to cater off-site, and we're talking about something beyond food, they don't have to get any special license if they want to cater food. But if they want to also cater liquor with that food, then there's I guess, an adjunct license they can get, and that's a Class I caterer's license. So in a nutshell, that summarizes the bulk of the changes.
Any questions? Chief? Chief, just how's the word going to get out to these establishments? Like you said, the Sam's Club or whatever, those guys that are doing these little sampling things or tasting. How's the word?
We're going to work with Batavia Main Street and the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll probably pen a letter to our current license holders explaining the changes. You know, one thing I mentioned last time, and that is you'll see some fees in this ordinance 1517 you have before you, but that's just plugging in new classes that we put in there. At a subsequent meeting, I'm going to show you the fee schedule of, let's just take a Geneva St. Charles compared to Batavia, and if you want to look at the whole fee schedule. But I don't want to muddy the waters right now because renewal is May 1st for liquor license. So we'll wait till the May 1st, 2016 to incorporate those things. But we'll talk about it before that, and the council has a chance to weigh in on those fees.
Very good. Thank you. Alderman McFadden?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Very helpful. Any further discussion? Somebody care to make a motion? Or I can make the motion. Move we approve Ordinance 1517, revising Title III, Chapter 3 of the Batavia Municipal Code, amending various provisions dealing with alcoholic liquor.
Second.
Motion by Alderman McFadden, second by Alderman Holm. Any other further questions? Roll call, please.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Aye. Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Jansit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Fisher?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Boderman?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you. Next item is item number 14, Administrator's Report. Mr. McGrath.
Thank you. A lot of service announcements. This year's brush program is going to start in May. The first pickup for the east side is on May 11th, or the week of May 11th, and on the west side, the week of May 18th. Please go to the city website to see what the specifications are for putting brush out. And we would ask that you not put brush out onto the parkway until at least the weekend before the date for pickup, so that we can keep the parkways looking nice and the neighborhoods looking nice. IDOT has a project involving resurfacing of Batavia Avenue from Fabian Parkway almost to Main Street. Signs are being put up. The project should be completed by mid-June, so please be aware there'll be some activity out there on the street. We've not gotten notice of the exact day for the final, for the paving, and when we do get that, we will put that out in our emails and let people know. Hydrant flushing is still taking place until April 24th. If you're thinking of replacing your driveway this year, there's been a change in permits. While a permit is not, a separate permit isn't required to replace an apron on the parkway, if you're doing your entire driveway, you do need a permit for any work on the driveway, whether it's on public or private property. You're free to call the city, the building department, to discuss any of those or the applicability of those changes to a project you might have. And lastly, the 2015 50-50 parking tree program is still continuing. The details are on the city website. There's trees that you can try to bid for that will be planted this spring, although it's first come, first served. There are other trees that will be planted in September. And again, you can go to the city website where the details are and the phone number where you can call Public Works to find out whether the species that you would like or that you're interested in is still available or not. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for City Administrator? Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 15, Committee Reports. Alderman Clark as Chairman of Public Utilities.
Thank you. Tomorrow night's meeting, I was looking at the agenda. I thought there was something for public utilities on there. but it doesn't show it on the calendar, so let me go back. I might not have anything to report.
Alderman McFadden is Vice Chair of Government Services.
We have nothing to report, nothing upcoming in the next couple of weeks.
Alderman Atack is Vice Chair of CDC.
Tomorrow night, we'll be discussing the West Town TIF and the pedestrian crossing at Houston and 31. Historic Preservation Committee will meet on April 27th at 5 o'clock? 5:30. And on the April 28th COW, we will discuss the development review process and Resolution 15-57, dedicating the dedication of a plat for part of Hamlet Street. And on the May 5th Committee of the Whole meeting, we're going to look at the Main Street design and alternatives and get an overall project update. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Wolf as Chair of City Services.
Thank you. Tomorrow night we have a discussion on the pedestrian crossing improvements at Houston Street. There's a memo that Gary had out. I'd like everybody to take a look at that. And also, Stan spoke to earlier, if you get a chance, drive up 31, make a left-hand turn into the business, either one of the entrances, just kind of get a feel of what we're talking about, take a look at it, see what you think of it. I think it's something that you need to experience firsthand to make a decision on. I think that's all we have.
All right, thank you. This meeting tomorrow night is at 7:30, correct? I don't think anybody mentioned the time, so I wanted to make sure we got it out there. Okay, any other business? Alderman Callahan.
Just want to reiterate what Marcia had stated earlier about Saturday breaking the world record attempt. The website is www.worldrecordbatavia.com. It is $5 to enter. The kickoff is at 9 o'clock. The parade will start at 10. It is ages 10 and older. It'll start from the depot caboose to just about Fabian Bridge, turn around and come back. It's 2 miles. Should take about 20, 30 minutes, depending on how fast people are going. Has to be a non-motorized scooter. And the most important thing about all of this is the donations raised and the entry fees go to Batavia United Way and Chip In Batavia, which is for, sadly, Batavia's student population that are homeless.
Thanks for reminding us of that. Any other business? I did want to, on the behalf of the mayor tonight, I talked to him earlier today, and as you all know, the swearing in of the new alderman is going to be on the first meeting in May. I think it's May 4th. So the mayor wanted me to extend the invitation to anyone that's being sworn in to bring their family, spouses, girlfriends, whatever the case may be, if they wish to. And then we're going to have a cake for the outgoing alderman, Mrs. Clark. So that'll be on May 4th is when we have the swearing in.
It's also for the people who are being sworn in.
Okay.
The cake.
Just for you.
Okay, per the change in the agenda, we do not have an executive session, so Alderman Clark, would you care to make a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Clark, second by O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, Susan.